Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Random Episode. This is the podcast where we watch a random episode of a TV show from a random series that neither of us have watched before. I'm Varin.
And I'm Christy.
And thank you, Lars Jesus, for our great intro song. So this week, we are talking about The Newsroom, Season 2, Episode 7, Red Team 3. This one aired August 25th, 2013 on HBO. And the episode summary from IMDb goes, in the aftermath of ACN's Operation Genoa report, the staff who put it together face some serious blowback. Not just when the government responds, but also when the source's credibility comes into question. Now, Christy, what did you know about the show before watching it?
I actually had never heard of the show before. I think you suggested it and I was like, I've never heard of that. And I mentioned the name of it to my husband and he had heard of it and he immediately knew it was Aaron Sorkin. So then I could make a connection. You know, I did love The West Wing. So I guess I sort of knew something because it was Aaron Sorkin. But that's it. I literally was like, I didn't know this was a show. So what about you?
I knew this was an HBO show. Okay. And I'm not going to lie, I think this is not totally random. I do think that I tried to watch this show, but didn't get, just whatever reason didn't click for me. So, but I am glad that we picked this for this podcast because I think this was a Aaron Sorkin show. And Aaron Sorkin has a huge impact. Though I was surprised. I looked at Aaron Sorkin's IMDb. Okay. And he hasn't written a whole lot of TV or movies. Okay. But what he has done is just fantastic stuff.
What do you mean by he hasn't written? Like he's created them but not written for them? Or just he hasn't done a lot of different things?
Yeah, like when you go to IMDb and you see like the list of shows.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot listed there. But I guess West Wing is his one of his biggest ones.
Yeah, of course.
And that went on for how many years did that go for?
I don't even remember. 6 maybe? I made that up. I don't remember. But but the thing I liked about that is it wasn't like too many years.
Okay.
Like it didn't go like, it wasn't like an ER or Grey's Anatomy where it's like 20 years.
Right.
Like I feel like it was like a good length where you can do a rewatch, which I have and would recommend to anyone. And Varn has never seen The West Wing.
I've never seen The West Wing.
Which is like actually like horrifying to think about.
Well, my wife producer also said last night, I can't believe you've not seen The West Wing. We need to do a rewatch of The West Wing.
Like 1,000%, which honestly, I feel like I want to do it again. I think the last time I rewatched was maybe 10 years ago, by the way, 10 years ago, super relevant. And it probably is super relevant even today. Like it's so good. So, I mean, Aaron Sorkin does great stuff. This definitely felt vibes of West Wing. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know, like the ensemble cast, like the tense room situations, like the white man in charge. No, I don't know.
Yes.
But, yeah, those vibes. But yes, I could definitely feel Aaron Sorkin's presence.
Yeah, I mean, I know Aaron Sorkin from The Social Network. Great movie.
Okay.
Moneyball, another good movie.
Okay.
And an episode of 30 Rock. So that's really where I connected.
What episode of 30 Rock?
He was on an episode of 30 Rock.
Like he was on it?
He was on it. And they did this whole like West Wing-esque like walk through, whatever floor they're on, 30.
Maybe I do kind of remember
I think he's with Liz Lemon doing that or maybe someone else. But yeah, he has this whole like walking thing similar to West Wing.
Okay.
It's funny.
Okay. I can sort of remember that. I'm literally like looking at his IMDb right now to be like, oh yeah, there it is. Okay. We digress.
You don't trust me? I'm telling you.
I do believe you, but I'm looking at it.
That's the only way I know what Aaron Sorkin looks like too, is because of 30 Rock.
That is a great point. Okay. I do believe you.
Yeah. So that's, again, I think that's about it for what I knew about the show going into this. So let's get into this episode. I think first off, similar to our last episode with Alias, we had a jam-packed cast.
Yeah, a lot of famous people.
Folks,
yeah.
With Will McAvoy, played by Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
Most famously from 101 Dalmatians.
And Dumb and Dumber. I was going to say Dumb and Dumber. Honestly, like what a glow up for him to go from Dumb and Dumber to this. Like,
Is that? I think he's been.
I mean, he's been in other stuff too,
Yeah.
obviously, but like, that's quite a leap.
Fly Away Home. Was that movie?
Was he in that?
I'm pretty sure he
Oh
was
my
in
God,
that
did
one.
you just memorize his entire IMDb?
No, I did not even look at his IMDb.
I went
I
to
just
it and I
remember
was like-
all the stuff that I remember him from. This is like the kid from the '90s movies.
Yeah, that's true.
not
But
Dumb
this
and
is like
Dumber.
such a serious role.
Yeah.
He's really grown up.
Yeah, I think there's so Mackenzie McHale, Emily Mortimer. She's a British actor, been in a bunch of stuff. Also in 30 Rock.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you. I was like, who is this British lady that I recognize?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Jack's
Yes.
love interest from like season 1, maybe I think it was.
The one who had like brittle bones.
Exactly.
My bones. My husband and I always say that. Okay, then like Sam Waterston. He's famous.
Yeah, Sam Waterston's very famous. Dev Patel.
Yeah. I recognized him and his name, but what else has he been in?
Well, so he blew up because of Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh,
Like, that
okay.
was
Yep,
his
yep,
big
yep,
thing.
yep, that's it.
But he's been doing a lot of just amazing indie movies
Yeah.
recently. So like, if he's in a movie, I'm watching it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah. Olivia Munn.
Oh yeah, of course, Olivia Munn. It also, I don't know. I don't take her seriously as an actress. I don't know why.
Why not?
I don't know. Is she a good actress?
I thought she was good in this.
Okay. I just feel like, I don't know. I've never respected her as an actress. So I was like, is she good in this? Okay. But
I've
yeah,
never seen.
recognize her.
She hasn't been in a whole. She was like in an X-Men movie, but I haven't really seen her in much else.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, maybe she was. Was she also in The Social Network?
I can't remember.
I don't remember. Anyway,
Okay.
and then we had David Harbour playing Elliot Hirsch. He's from became famous, really famous because of Stranger Things.
Don't know him.
And we had Stephen Root playing the General Stamtonovich. He's from Office Space, Dodgeball.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Milton from Office Space.
His face was blurred out for most of this episode, so I didn't recognize him.
Oh, true. He was in the flashback primarily.
Yeah.
Or the recap. Sorry. And the only other famous person was at the very end of the episode, Jane Fonda.
I know that was such a random.
That was random,
okay.
but I loved it.
Yeah, it's great.
But all right, so let's do a very high level recap here of this one. Okay, so this whole episode was around a news story that the ACN was going to or that they ran, and it kind of jumps between present day and past when they were airing it. I guess the present day that they are meeting with lawyers, and each of the members of the staff are being interviewed about what happened, what led up to this story being aired. And the whole story was about an operation that went on in the Middle East, and how the story showed that through interviews with folks that there were chemical warfare was used
Yeah.
in the Middle
By
East.
the United States.
By the United States. Thank you. And
Huge accusation.
huge accusation to use. And what we come to find out was that the story was cooked. The one of the producers who has been fired.
Yeah.
He edited a big piece of of an interview
Yeah.
to make the person say that they used chemical warfare when that's not what he said.
That's not what he said.
So between that and the whole story unravels, where they are looking at each of their witnesses and seeing how, oh my God, like one guy actually had a traumatic brain injury, a TBI, and how
not trustworthy witnesses.
exactly, and how one of the go-to sources by one of the higher up peoples was actually fucking with him essentially because he was getting revenge on, I guess, his son's death.
Yeah.
And I think, and then you had this producer who cooked this interview, so it all came out, and then the end story is that it was an institutional problem.
Yeah. Institutional breakdown.
Exactly.
Yikes. Yeah. It was, to me, I liked the format of like how they would show, the interview, like kind of flash back and forth between the lawyers interviewing and then the story playing out. So I just thought that was interesting. Like, to me, it was fun to kind of see like piece by piece and like hearing the different perspectives as it kind of played out about like what actually went down. I don't know. Did you?
I did not.
Do you have thoughts on
I
that?
did not. It was, oh my God, dude, the bouncing around. I'm also quickly taking notes for this podcast.
Yeah,
too,
of course.
which just made the whole format just made this impossible. But anyway, it was, I don't know, it just jumped around too much. I was like,
Okay.
where's this going? And then the way that people are talking, it was just way too fast. And
Yeah.
I don't. The writing was too all over the place for me.
Oh,
honestly.
interesting.
Yeah.
I do feel like maybe you feel differently, but if we had been watching this show and already knew the characters, it might have been easier. Because for us, like, we're coming in this blind. And so not only do we have to be following like the jumping around in time, but we also don't know who's who yet. And a lot of the guys look the same. Like, a lot of them are just like white guys with brown hair.
Yes.
So I still don't know the difference between a couple of the guys. So that was, to me, the challenge. But once I kind of started to figure out who was who, I don't know. I did like the format. I thought it was interesting to see kind of what goes down. I don't know.
I will say again, since this is a random episode that we chose from season 2 towards the end of the season, that it didn't take me long to figure out what each person's role is, because they also like, because they are talking and being interviewed by lawyers, they also had to explain what they were doing, like what their job is.
Yeah.
So that also surprisingly helped me.
Yeah, that's true.
To pick up on what everyone's position is, what everyone's role is.
Yeah.
In this news.
Yeah. Well, and so like what was interesting to me is ultimately it does seem like this one guy, Jerry, is like the guy who cooked the footage, right?
That motherfucker, yeah.
Jerry, yeah. Like, it does seem obvious that he was the problem, right? Like, if he hadn't like altered the footage and made the general say, yes, we used gas, this story clearly would not have run, and like none of this would have happened. But then the whole thing, they're trying to like convince themselves and also us that like a lot of people fucked up, which it does play out. And like, yes, there were other problems too, but like Jerry was clearly the problem. He literally altered an interview. Like, he faked the footage.
But here's my problem with it, though.
Okay.
One of my biggest problems is that in the recap at the beginning of the episode, they tell us, the audience, that he cooked it.
Yeah.
So we find out early on. We already know going into the
know.
episode that is being cooked. I feel it would have been much better of an episode is if we are going along the storyline of, we are also believing, like we are also fully thinking that this is legitimate, that this is honest. And then when at the end, when Mackenzie, who I guess is like maybe producer, something like that, when she makes that connection, I feel like that could have been like a real opportunity for like a oh shit moment. Like, we as an audience, we can be like, oh shit, like we've been rooting for them, we've been believing them, we've been putting our middle finger to the lawyers too.
Yeah.
Like, this story's legit. And then when Mackenzie finds out, it's like, oh shit, like not only did Jerry pull one over on them, but he pulled one over on us, the audience.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish that they hadn't done that in the recap and told us that.
Yeah. Well, and the whole purpose that the lawyers say they're there is because he's claiming wrongful termination. Like, he's claiming he shouldn't have been fired because it wasn't his fault. But also, like, it was your fault. I don't know.
Well, it was his fault. I don't know where he has the gall to do this.
Right. But then, like, by the end, everybody's like, yeah, you're right. Like, it wasn't his fault. It was all of us. And I'm like, no, like, it was his fault. So I don't know. We don't get a full resolution of, like, does he get let off the hook? But everybody by the end is, like, taking responsibility. And I'm like, yeah, yes, there were mistakes made. And, like, he's the one who faked the footage. I don't know.
It does seem as they get it right at the end, right? That it is an institutional problem. Like, no one vetted and no one second guessed, no one questioned. But then again, news stations run, CNN, whatever, probably runs like, I don't know how many of these types of stories a day.
Yeah.
Not alone in a morning, afternoon, evening news cycle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they can vet everything, but they do say that this has been going on for 11 months. They've been working on this one.
Yeah. Well, what like news station do you think this is supposed to be comparable to? Like, do you think this is supposed to be like a CNN, or is this like this is CBS nightly or like NBC nightly news? Like, is this 60 Minutes? Like, what is the program in your mind?
Great question. I was thinking this was like an NBC nightly news.
That's what I was more leaning towards too, because I don't want to say like CNN and network news or like the 24/7 news stations don't do due diligence, but I feel like NBC nightly news and those types, I don't know, they're like more on the front and center, right? Like I don't know, to me at least, maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah, I mean, I feel like CNN has the multi-panel format, and
Yeah.
while like NBC Nightly News has like the main host,
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
who runs the stories, and then obviously there's like the side people, like the journalists who are actually in the stories,
yeah.
whatever. But honestly, for me, the main thing was I know CNN is based in Washington D.C. Is that correct? And this one
CNN's
was
based in Atlanta.
oh, whoops. Um,
Where
oh
was this
man,
based?
this one was based in New York
New
City.
York City. Okay.
Yes, and they referenced I think Jerry, who's up from who
Oh, because he
he's
used to
moved
work
up
in
from DC, so it's
DC.
not DC. So that's
Yeah.
why I mean I know NBC's New York City,
Yeah.
unless you tell me differently because I don't know shit I guess about.
30 Rock. Yeah, I don't know. I think because it just made me think of like a 60 Minutes type thing when they said like we've been working on this for 11 months. Like we have all these different interviews that we're lining up. Like it just felt like a lot of work that they're putting into one story as opposed to just like we're running news 24/7, like we're just constantly finding stories. Like this felt like a bigger deal.
Right. No, I agree.
So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so like over these 11 months, it sounds like there have been multiple times where they've come together at the table, right? Like with all of them, and they have kind of collectively like rejected doing this story. So like over time, they've tried to bring in more evidence. Somebody's poked enough holes to say like, nope, we don't have enough evidence. And then finally, they found kind of like the tipping point. They got like one more witness or like one more story. And now enough of them felt confident to run it. And I will point out, not everybody. Like Olivia Munn did not seem confident.
No, there's actually that other dude too. What's his name?
Yeah, there were at least like two or three
Jim,
of them.
I think his name was
Yeah.
very much like against this.
Yes, who were like, no, we still don't have enough like solid stuff. And then I also appreciated, I don't know, again, I don't know their names. Maybe it was that guy, the one who's like, this is literally like accusing them of something that they would get like a death sentence for. Like in
Right,
US
yeah.
federal law, like using chemical warfare, like you would be put to death. And so like that's what we're accusing like this general of. Like this is super serious. And I don't know. I'm intrigued as to how they were like, nope, we're ready.
Well, I liked how they showed as you mentioned before, how they've gone through different iterations of rejecting this before they accepted it, right? And I think that's the name of the episode is Red Team 3. There was a Red Team 1. After Red Team 1, they rejected. After Red Team 2, they rejected. But after Red Team 3, that's when they finally moved forward with it. But it's also just interesting how, and it was just kind of a little vague too, how both Will, our main character, played by, again, Jeff Daniels, he had, I guess, a source who corroborated this.
Yeah.
But we never met this person. Like we never got shown this person who told them to run with it.
Right. Yeah, because that's the whole thing is like they have these, these actual interviews that get to air, but then beyond that, like Will has a source and Charlie has a source who are anonymous, but they feel like super certain. So because both of them have these like super certain sources and like I guess Mackenzie like felt good enough, they were like, let's do it. Trust the white man.
Trust the white man.
But yeah, you're right. We don't. Maybe in other episodes the audience knows who Will's source is, but we don't.
Well, they kind of did. They hint at, or did they say? Someone said, "What if Will and Charlie's source are the same person?"
Yeah.
And like,
don't
no
know.
one asked that question, I guess.
Yeah.
And so they kind of hinted at that. I'm not sure if that was like supposed to be implied that was actually what happened, or if not. But
Yeah.
let's talk about Charlie's source.
Okay.
This guy.
Okay.
They meet in a sketchy parking garage. So take a step back here.
Yeah.
So after they start having doubts, everyone's like, okay, let's check our sources. Charlie goes down to DC, goes to talk to his source in person because he only talks to his source in person.
Yeah.
And they meet in a sketchy parking garage. And Charlie's like, hey, so about
the story we just ran and we're getting blasted for.
Exactly. We're kind of getting investigated by the government, which we'll get to in a second,
Right.
maybe. But then, no, the source starts pulling out his phone. It's like, hey, let me show you pictures of my son. Here, moving into college, and here he's there. And then, here he is at like his first day on the job as an intern at ACN, his news station, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then now here we are at his funeral.
Yeah.
And like, what the fuck? And so his whole thing is, I guess his son, who was a drug addict, but was like 3 months sober.
Yeah, he was in recovery.
Was working at ACN, and I guess he was working with Neil, the social media guy. Mm-hmm. But I guess his son was posting stuff on the internet that was inappropriate.
Right.
Neil told him, hey, stop doing that.
Right.
He didn't, so he got fired. Mm-hmm. But the source is upset with Charlie because Charlie didn't step in and like save his job.
Right.
And because his son lost a job, he then, I guess, took his own life.
There's some sort of leap that happens between like, you fired my son and now my son is dead. Like, implication, you're the cause of my son's death. Which, like...
That was I did not like that part of the show. That is a hell of a leap.
And because you somehow caused my son's death, I will now feed you a fake story that is going to completely fuck over, like, tons of people, military generals, military servicemen, your network, like, everybody. Like, that feels extreme.
No, he also said, I thought about killing you.
Yeah.
I thought about hiring someone to kill you, but no. I'm going to go after what Charlie cares about the most, and that's his career. And I've been just waiting around, and this one fell in my lap, and I got you.
Yeah.
This one, that was a huge stretch.
I mean,
huge stretch.
You know, people go crazy. Like, I cannot imagine if one of my children, you know, died of drug overdose. Like, I might go crazy too. Like, I can see a grieving parent going crazy. But I don't know if I could see them then saying, like, you know, X caused Y, caused Z, caused my son's death, and, like, now I will kill you. Like, that just feels a little much.
I kind of wish that there was a line from Charlie saying, hey, I know that you are upset and you're looking for an excuse, a scapegoat.
Yeah.
But I'm not that guy. I wish there was, like, that line in there. But this just seemed... way too much.
And like, so out of left field, like, you don't think the guy would have like brought this to his attention sooner? Or he was just like, nope, you know what? Instead of going right after him, I'm going to play this long game. And like, when the timing is right, I'm going to feed him a fake story that like somehow corroborates the story that he's already been working on. And like also corroborates the other sources that they have. That feels a little bit of a stretch.
It was a very much stretch. If he like got that story from his source or whatever, got this tip, and then the very next day went straight to like air with like only this one source.
Yes.
Then yeah, sure. That makes sense to me. But again, they've been working on this for 11 months.
I know.
They had like 6 other people. Again, they all were fucked in their own separate ways.
Yeah.
But this, big stretch.
So I don't know. I mean, again, like there's so many pieces that we don't even know who Will's source is. It could have been the same guy.
We don't know.
We know the general, his interview footage was doctored by Jerry. So like that was a blown piece of evidence. There was like that other soldier who then was like, by the way, I have a TBI, traumatic brain injury. And everybody's like, oh, fuck. Like we didn't know that. Like he probably isn't a, reliable witness. And then like the other guy was just like, she realized, Mac, I guess, was like, oh my God, I think I was leading him to say the answer I wanted him to say the entire time. So like that interview is not valid. It's just like everything's falling apart.
That one was also bothered the shit out of me too.
the leading the witness one?
Leading the witness. Not only that, but like that this dude is going to go on air and like his rationale for going along with this and saying that this happened is because my buddy who I care for, I don't want to leave him out to dry in this news story. Like,
Yeah.
that made
Okay.
no sense either.
I could kind of get it. I don't know. I was clearly very in on this episode because I was like, all of this makes total sense. I mean, yes, the guy whose son died, that one to me was a stretch. But like the guy, not disclosing his TBI and then like realizing he's not a good witness, like I get that. I do buy the TBI guy's friend just like wanting to support him, so like corroborating that sort. Like I don't know, I can buy all of that, and I can buy this guy doctoring the interview footage. So yeah, I get it.
But again, dude, buddy, who is gonna corroborate this guy's story? Like again, same thing as before. Like you are going to impact, possibly send fellow soldiers to their death for things that they did not do.
I know.
And you are going to again go on national TV to. I mean, because afterwards, after the story, after they rescind everything, I mean, these guys are fucked.
Yeah. When I like,
and what's the excuse? Like the other guys got the excuse of I got TBI or whatever. Like, but the other guy,
me too. I have PTSD, so I lied.
Exactly.
Like I don't know. Well, and then like they were saying, so the general guy, he had his like face blurred and his voice distorted. But they were like, there's literally like 6 people in the entire world who know this information, and they figured it out pretty darn quick, like who it was. So even that guy, like people know who he was, and because they altered what he said, he's now like fucked because it looks like he dropped some really bad shit that like he shouldn't have said. Mm-hmm. But should we talk about how that is discovered, that the footage is altered?
Oh yeah, I love this.
Okay.
So the first half of this whole episode I thought was just so boring and so dumb. Like, what the fuck is this for? And again, they introduce us to Mackenzie, who apparently, I don't know how long she's been living in the United States, but doesn't know anything about basketball or sports in general.
That's believable.
Is it?
She knows about soccer because she's British.
Yeah, but if you've been in the States for this long, you don't know like the difference between a shot clock and like a normal clock.
That is extremely believable.
I don't believe it. Nope, I don't believe it. Especially even if you're working for a news. Anyway.
Okay.
So we had this whole conversation about shot clocks, the difference between shot clocks and the game clock.
Yes, because she like is in the office with Will and he's watching, and I guess he loves sports, so he's like always watching sports.
Apparently.
Yeah, so she's like, why are there 2 clocks? And so he explains shot clocks.
Yeah,
which again, I believe that a especially British woman who probably like is recently in America doesn't know that. I believe that.
I want to know how long she's been in America, okay? And
okay.
How do you not know the traditions of America, like March Madness? Okay. And that's about it. That's only
Very
I don't watch the NBA. Yeah, so that comes into play later.
Yeah.
Because during the interview with the general, Jerry, I guess the general wanted a basketball game on the background. Very convenient.
Yes, convenient, yes.
Very convenient. So he wanted the basketball game on in the background, but Jerry, the producer, wasn't able to cut it out of frame and get the general. Whatever. So they decided that they were going to blur out the
what's on the screen.
Yes, then that was like for what they're going to air, right?
Yeah.
But they had the original. They have the whole interview tape,
of course,
and they have the game on there in the background. And so, because Jerry's the one who was the only one in the interview room, they all thought that someone else, Maggie, was also in the interview room, but she was not in the interview room. They don't find that out until later. So he's the only one who's in the interview room. The dude's face is darkened, so you can't see his lips. All you hear is the audio. And Jerry's the only one in the room. So, and he alters the, I guess, original footage, I guess. And to make the general say something that he didn't say. But Mackenzie, she now knows about basketball and the
now
difference
that I know what a shot clock is,
shot clocks and everything like that. Because of and when the dude walks up with a countdown clock, for the complete aside, a countdown clock that's going to be used, I guess, on air or whatever for Will, that makes her think, wait a minute, let me go back and look at the basketball game.
Yeah.
And so then that's where she goes back. She looks at the edited original footage
Yeah.
and notices that the shot clock jumps in seconds, showing, cuts in the video.
Yeah. I just have a hard time believing that Jerry, while altering the footage, would not check that. Right?
No, I don't think so.
Like, if you're doing something that illegal and sinister, you wouldn't I don't know. I reread emails that I send 50 times before sending thanks. Literally, you wouldn't look at the footage 100 times before you send it to, yep, good to go. I don't know. I would scour every part of that footage before I send that to anybody else. Comma out of place. That's my emails.
More than the shot clock, more is the play, like the actual video of the players playing.
Right.
That would be edited differently too. You'd probably have
yes.
1 second you'd have people on one side of the court, and then next second they're on the other side of the court.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be the bigger red flag to me than the shot clock, honestly.
Right, the fact that there is a game, a picture in picture, a game going on within this footage, and when you alter it and watch it back, you're not noticing that. And again, if it's me and I'm being extremely careful, my emails every day, I'm watching it multiple times to make sure, is this exactly the cut I want? You don't see the basketball game, glitching?
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird.
That's the thing. And also when they are, before it goes live, and he is showing everyone this edited original that he's made to everyone in the room, the conference room. I'm surprised no one noticed that too.
Right,
You 20 people in that room.
20 of them are watching. And even somebody points out, that's interesting. Why is that basketball game on there? If you notice there's a basketball game, I'm sure you're noticing that it looks weird.
Yeah, it's glitching.
Yeah.
Glitching is a great way for what would have happened on the screen.
Yes. It would have looked glitchy. So I don't know. I appreciated it was an interesting way for her to figure it out, just storytelling wise. And it was unbelievable. I don't know. At the time I was watching this, was really into it. And now the more I'm talking about it, the more we're poking holes in it. I'm oh, maybe this wasn't as good as I thought it was. At the time I was oh yeah, this is cool. Oh.
Well, yeah, and I said at the top that I love this, but now that we are poking holes, I'm oh, yeah, this is a little dumb.
Yeah.
Because I think what I liked about it really was, again, how it tied together all these seemingly random events, watching the basketball game and explaining how this works.
Yeah, because they spent a good 2 to 3 minutes on that shot clock scene, and at the time you're what the fuck, this seems so boring. But now it all makes sense.
And then when the random employee there walks up with, "Hey, check out this new countdown clock that I created," or whatever. It's okay, this is dumb. Why is this happening?
Yeah.
But I think it all paid off.
Yeah.
But it was a little dumb that they didn't. A
Somebody
little unrealistic. A little unrealistic.
Yes, unrealistic. You had all these people, lawyers, you had all these people watching. I don't know. Yeah. I care about the attention to detail, and I feel I would have called that, but it's fine. I wasn't on the red team. It's fine.
I feel is again, tell me if I'm wrong here, because you watched West Wing.
Uh-huh.
I feel Aaron Sorkin is really into the that detail, that attention to detail.
Yeah.
I feel if this was Chuck or Alias or something like that, we just gloss over.
I know.
Don't worry about it. But I feel Aaron Sorkin is someone who's would be all about the attention to detail, and I think that's probably a little bit surprising.
Maybe that's what it is. It's I have high expectations as opposed to a Chuck or an Alias. So yes, that's why I feel I am more apt to poke holes and be what? This doesn't make sense, because I'm Aaron Sorkin, come on. But it's fair. Okay, well, so yeah, by the end of the episode, it's very clear. All the witnesses have fallen apart. All the interviews have fallen apart. They have to retract. They go on live and basically say never mind. Well, also the Pentagon is after them. The government's we 1,000% know you're wrong, and they're oh fuck. The government's real confident.
Yep. But that for me, again, our current political climate, in this current age, I'd be well, if the government's after you, I'm gonna second guess that too right now. So
yeah, well, this was This was back in the
This was in
the
different
good
time.
times.
But I do like how they tie in the current events of the day, right? They talked about Benghazi happening.
I was trying to figure out, like, were they referencing actual Benghazi?
I think they're, yes. I think
Okay,
it's
that's what I
actual
thought.
Benghazi.
Yeah, because they're also referencing like a presidential election,
They,
and
they mentioned
they
Romney.
named like a couple real people.
Yeah.
So like, okay, like that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think they definitely include current events of the day
Yeah.
into the show.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They also had a whole thing like at the end where there's now like mass protests and stuff happening in Cairo. I don't know. I kind of got lost at that point. I was like, is this connected to the story or is this like a news story?
No, I think this was. I think I didn't do the research, but I think that was actual stuff that happened
Okay.
at the time.
And so now it's like they spent all this time focusing on this fake story and now they're like missing the real stories
Yes.
and like their opportunity to like tell a good real story.
Right.
Okay.
But also how like, the news cycle maybe saved their asses maybe a little bit too.
Yeah, because people just moved on.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But by the end, they like Will and Charlie and Mac are all like about to resign. Because they're like, yep, we're fucked. It was us.
Our final interview that with the lawyers is Will.
Yeah.
And he goes on these
tells a lot of stories.
Tells a lot of stories from the history. Gives everyone a history lesson.
I was unclear what the connection was. Like he was talking about Rosa Parks. I'm like, what does this have to do with you?
He kept mentioning different events that possibly could have altered history, right? And how
like if this one thing hadn't happened, this wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
But is he referencing himself, like that he's a major historical event?
Well, I don't.
That part wasn't
clear.
No, that was not clear to me.
Because again, if Claudette Colvin was not pregnant, then we may not have had
MLK become famous. Yeah.
And if someone had actually murdered FDR, we wouldn't have
the New Deal.
The New Deal.
Yeah.
And if they'd actually tested, if the temperatures were warmer when the Challenger took off, then the Challenger would not have exploded.
Right.
So I'm thinking, so is it because Benghazi happened, this wasn't as big of a deal?
Is that what he's trying to say? But then why would he then be like, and I'll resign?
But I think he, my take was that he was acknowledging that their asses were saved because of Benghazi, but this was still an institutional issue.
Right.
And he is part of the institution and he is going to resign. He is saying that he's going to resign. And Charlie, yes, as you said, Charlie said he's going to resign, and Mackenzie said they're all going to resign.
Yeah.
So they all meet together, and that's when we get Jane Fonda.
Who I guess is like the owner of the network, maybe?
She must be.
Yeah, because she's like, nope, you're not resigning. Like, we're just going to move forward.
No, that's not all she says.
Okay, what does she say?
She walks in talking about how she just came from seeing Skyfall. Paying like, what, $10,000 on that, or I forget how much it was, to go see Skyfall. But really to go see Daniel Craig. And she's obsessed with Daniel Craig.
She keeps talking about Daniel Craig.
Yeah, she even calls Will a Daniel Craig wannabe. And he's like, I'm not, what are you talking about? And she's like, you should be a Daniel Craig wannabe. It was funny. She may have been high, I guess, maybe.
She was something. She was wasted or high or something, yeah. That was like an interesting comic relief at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they all say that they are going to resign. And she rejects it. She's like, no, I'm not going to. It's not fair that all my room full of white people who fucked up and didn't do their job correctly.
I can't lose you.
I can't lose you. It's not fair that another white guy comes in and scams us. And he's going to get all his money from me.
Yeah.
But you guys are going to lose your jobs.
No, not fair. So she's like, just get their trust, get the public's trust back. You'll be fine. And I'm sure they will, because there's still another season.
There is.
There's no way they could all be fired or all quit.
No.
Because we still have more seasons to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that just I need to say real quick is Jerry, the guy who actually does the bad thing. The way that he maintains that he did the right thing, like till the very end. Like he's fully caught and he's like, nope, stand by it. I did the right thing. He would have said it anyway. Like I said what he basically wanted to say, like fully, like the confidence of a privileged white male. I know we're saying that a lot, but like it really did feel like he's like, nope, I'm right. And I have the privilege to say it. And like, now I'm going to sue you.
Like,
yeah,
there were absolute holes in his story. The government was able to rebuke everything that he said. Like,
yes, like the fact that he's still till the end is like, I am so confident that I'm right. I will now sue you.
Exactly. the ball's on you, man. Like,
I know. Where did he get the audacity? I don't know.
I do not know. Do not know.
That Washington, D.C. privilege. I don't know.
But yeah, he was going after $5 million.
Yeah, I don't know.
The ACN network.
Oh my God. So yeah, we still, I don't know. Maybe at some point they like have a resolution and we like find out.
Maybe.
But whatever. Regardless, the story's over and nobody's going to quit.
No one's going to quit.
Happy ending.
Happy.
Except for like the poor general who probably
no one's going to talk to him anymore.
Shit. I know.
He's probably lost all his golfing buddies.
Completely ostracized.
Exactly.
Like, probably, yes. Like his life is now shit.
Yeah.
And for what?
Because, I mean,
nothing.
Well, sure, he's going to be proven right because they're going to redact or whatever, recall the story. I'm sure that's vindicated, but still,
the
everyone knows that
done.
he went on there. Yeah. And yeah.
Terrible.
Man.
And that's the episode.
That is the episode. Yeah, I mean, I do think that there is a serious challenge in credibility, and I don't know where news networks these days stand with credibility. I feel like in this day and age, maybe there's a lot less, especially with social networking being a real source for news now.
Yeah.
So like anyone can break something, and
well, and this episode just made me think about what, like AI does right now with like, what are they called when it fakes?
Deep fake.
Like deep fakes, right? Like that is so common now that like, I don't know, this was just like a old version of basically that happening. I feel like.
Oh yeah. Nowadays you don't need all the stuff with the basketball game or everything like that. It could be easily smoothed over and taken care of.
Which is just like really scary to think about.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But yeah, it is. I do wonder, like what, I don't know, like overall, like what is this show about? Like this particular episode was obviously about like a political, like government military scandal. But is every episode about like the political scene? Like is the newsroom all about politics, military? I don't know. Or do they branch out?
I mean, I'm thinking that it's a mix. It's probably a mix of incorporating or the hot topics of the day back then. I mean, 2013?
Yeah.
2000, there's 3 seasons, so 2012, 2014.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff to use back then. And
I always wonder with shows like this, like, do they get into like their personal drama? That's really what I care about.
Yes.
Because this episode was very much just like facts and like what happened. But there's clearly relationships between people.
Stuff going on, yes.
I do wonder the extent to which like, outside stuff is a part of the show as well.
That's why I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix of the politics of the day, which I think I like, and also the interpersonal relationships at a news network.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It is interesting. Have you ever watched like other shows that are about like the news? Did you watch The Morning Show?
No, I did not watch The Morning Show.
I watched a couple seasons, but it got too real.
Too real?
Like during COVID, they did a season about COVID. And it was just like, I don't watch TV to like experience the real pain of like actual existence. Like, and it was so gruesome. Like you would watch scenes of people like suffering from COVID. And it's like, I don't need to see this on my TV. I'm like, this is real. So yeah. And that's what I was thinking about with this show. Like, I wonder to what extent they were like doing real current, like how current event, heavy did they get? Because I don't know. For me, I watch TV to escape.
I am the exact same way.
So if TV is like completely what's happening in real life, I can't do it.
Do you watch the news right now?
Do I watch the news? No.
I don't watch the news.
I mean, I for a while was a pretty avid 60 Minutes watcher because I'm a
Oh,
million years old
fascinating.
because I'm an old person. But I don't know. I feel like we don't even put that on any. I also just don't put on the TV. Like we watch streaming.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, there's no news. My Peacock app is not on the news. It is on Real Housewives. So, you know, that's what I watch.
I will say for a while, I did used to watch the Today Show.
Okay, well, that's not even like
And
news.
that's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real news.
Yeah.
It's kind of real
Yeah,
news,
kind of.
but
Yeah, a
it's
little bit.
again, it's very lighthearted.
Yeah.
And they get through the dark stuff very quickly to
Yeah.
get through the latest shopping trends.
That's true. I did used to watch the Today Show. I did used to love. I mean, now it's like I'm at work, so like I have to can't watch my like morning shows. But I don't know. At this point in the world, the news is too bleak, so
It's very bleak.
can't watch it.
Yeah, I read the news, and even now I have trouble reading the news. I really have to. I have 2 news sites that I read, and
Yeah.
I really fly through them.
I know.
Just to see the headlines.
I know.
Because it gives me too much anxiety.
I know. You know, it doesn't give you anxiety. My Instagram For You page. It's all just Bravo, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. You know.
The real
TikTok
news.
content. Really what we all are caring about. It's a great escape.
Yes.
It's a good time. God.
Oh, yep. That's again. This is the days. All right. So, let's dive then. Is there anything else you want to talk about with this one?
No.
All right.
There's a lot.
So let's go into the acting quality then.
Okay.
On a rating system from A being slam dunk best acting out there to F just being garbage acting, how would you grade the acting in this show, Christy?
I'm like worried because I'm afraid you're gonna disagree with me, but I thought it was really good. Like I was gonna say like A minus.
Okay.
Like I thought this was a good, well acted show. He always disagrees.
I went with a
What?
B plus.
Okay.
So we're not far off.
Yeah. I thought it was good.
Again, for me, I was really iffy there in the first half of the show. I think I wrote down after that whole basketball explanation scene.
Yeah.
I then stopped to see how much time was left. I was like, oh my God, there's 40 minutes left in this show. I can't do this.
I will say when I saw that it was a 58-minute episode, that's too much for me. Like I can't with these if it's an hour-long show, I need to be actually like 42 minutes. Like I need it to be the hour-long set that they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was too much.
Yeah, it was very long.
lot.
But that being said, the second half of the episode really picked up for me.
Yeah.
And the acting really shined, I think. And again, that's the problem with grading the acting quality for the show when you have such a huge ensemble cast.
Yeah.
But I think everyone
Yeah.
overall did a good job. So gave it a B plus.
Okay. Great.
And then let's go over to our rock rating. This is our representation of color scoring based on the number of POCs that were in the episode. From 0 being there was absolutely nobody in this show to 10 being probably an all POC cast. And I'm going to have to go with a 6 for this one because I saw there's Dev Patel.
Yeah.
And there were 2 other black characters in this show with lines. There was one person who was like at the head who handed off the book. That woman was there.
Okay.
And she had a couple lines. And then there was another person as well when Benghazi was breaking.
Okay.
He was, he had some back and forth.
I feel like I have no memory of those people. But I believe you.
Yeah. Okay. But Dev Patel did have he was not like Will or Mackenzie or anyone like that.
Yeah.
But he had a part to play in this episode. So
Okay.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I still need to see a rubric on this one because I'm like, that feels high for
I'm
a white male dominated cast. But
I'm working on the rubric.
I'll go with it. I'll accept it.
And okay, so I guess finally, did you like it?
I actually did really enjoy it at the time. Obviously, now that we're poking holes in it, I'm like, oh no, did I not like it? But I did. I don't feel like I'm going to keep watching it. I can't with these hour-long episodes. It's like way too much. But I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. What about you?
Not really.
Okay, can you at least go watch The West Wing, though?
I can go watch The West Wing. I think there's a break now that The Last of Us season 2 has ended.
Okay.
I think there's a slot open now for some nighttime West Wing, maybe.
It's worth it. It's great.
Maybe.
Okay. Enjoy.
But yeah, overall, just I think if you probably listen to this podcast, probably be surprised I didn't like it, but because I really hyped up the good stuff, but overall, it just wasn't great. Overall,
Okay.
I don't know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay, well, thanks for listening, folks. Remember to follow us on Spotify or wherever you're listening. And if you are liking what you're hearing, please rate us 5 stars. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram at The Random Episode Pod. Finally, and most importantly, come on back for our next random episode.
Bye.